Hey, what's up, purpose? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm so excited to do a photo comparison between the Samsung Galaxy S10 with the LG V30. Okay, so without further ado, let's check it out. I know that LG V30 is a bit out of date, but it is worth comparing with this device with the latest flagship from Samsung. Before looking at the photos, it is important to share the camera spec of these two gadgets. As you can see from the left hand side, it is the Samsung Galaxy S10. And let's take a look at the camera spec. As you can see, there are three different lenses. First of all is the 12 megapixel with f1.5 to 2.4. The second one is 12 megapixel with f2.4, which is the telephoto lens. And last but not least is the 16 megapixels with f2.2. This is the ultra wide, which is similar to the LG V30, which is called the wide angle lens. And the last one to talk about is the front facing camera, which is the 10 megapixels with f1.9, and it is also known as a wide lens. Okay, so now let's take a look at the camera of the LG V30. As you can see, the first camera is 16 megapixels with 1.6, and this one is also known as a wide lens. The second one is only 13 megapixels with f1.9, and this one is the ultra wide. As you can see, it's also have this kind of function. And later in this video, we're going to compare the ultra wide, the wide, and last but not least is the telephoto between these two gadgets. Last but not least is the front facing camera, which is only 5 megapixels with f2.2, which is a bit darker than the Samsung Galaxy S10. But I think this one is wider because it is 22 millimeters. What about the price? Well, the S10 starts from $840, while the LG V30 is only $290. So you can see how much different they are. Okay, but wait, we're going to take a look at the results from those two flagships. Okay, let's enjoy. Okay guys, so now let's take a look at the results from both devices. Can you guess which one is from the LG and which one is from the Samsung? So I think you might guess it's right because of the lighting from one of the devices. As you can see from the right hand side, the brightness of the photo seems to be brighter than the photo from the left hand side. So you can say that this is from the Samsung Galaxy S10. But can you see any other differences between these two flagships in addition to the brightness? Because the brightness seems to be a bit brighter, not really much brighter than the LG. Let's zoom in a little bit. For your information, these photos are the telephotos, so the focus is on the background, not the foreground. For your information, LG V30 has no telephoto built-in, but if you want to check out my video how to take telephoto using your LG V30, please check the video with the link above, or you can check in the description. Okay, you look at the Spider-Man. Okay, the color saturation. So the color saturations seem to be more saturated on the V30 than on the Samsung. Okay, so it's more red, and on the Samsung it seems to be more pink. Yeah, it's a bit pink rather than red itself, or light red than the dark red on the LG V30. Okay, so this is the telephoto focusing on the background. Now let's move on to another telephoto which is focusing on the foreground. Okay, so again, the brightness of the Samsung Galaxy S10 seems to be brighter than the LG V30. But in terms of brightness, we can adjust it later, right? As long as the photo is clear and good saturated and good clarity, I think brightness is just a small part of thing which you can adjust later. Okay, so let's zoom in to the Spider-Man. So if you look at the yellow on the Spider-Man eyes, the color seems to be less saturated, while this one seems to be brighter. And the shadow in each line of the Spider-Man face, this one seems to be clearer on the Samsung. It's clearer, but on the LG seems to be a bit blurred. If you go down, same thing. Okay. The body part of the Spider-Man seems to be blurred, a bit blurred than the part from the Samsung Galaxy S10. The clarity and the shadow seems to be better than the LG. Okay, this is Telephoto. Let's move on to the next one, which is the ultra wide. This is the ultra wide from the S10. This is the ultra wide from the LG. Well, yeah, because the LG has already built in the ultra wide lens since the LG G5, V20, G6, and V30, V40, and the V50 is about to release soon in the future. Okay, if you zoom in a little bit on the Spider-Man. Okay, because again these photos I focus on the foreground, the background, not the foreground, so the foreground seems to be blurred. So the body part from the LG V30 seems to be more blurred than the body part on the Samsung. And again, the color saturated seems to be more saturated than the Samsung itself. But the brightness from these two photos, I don't think the Samsung is brighter than the LG. Is almost the same. Okay, so now let's move on to the next photo, which is the white photo. This is a simple lens from both devices. Well, what can you see? What can you tell from both devices? Both results. Again, the eyes of the Spider-Man seems to be brighter. And here the face seems to be clearer. This one is a bit blurred. The body also is blurred, but this one is more clarity. But this one, the clarity of the photo seems to be better than the LG. But unless you zoom in, if you zoom out, I don't think you can see any much different from both devices. Okay, so now let's move on to the last photo, which is also known as the white lens from both devices, the simple lens from LG, from Samsung. Okay, so from LG, as you can see, yeah, the face of the Spider-Man seems to be blurred than the Spider-Man from the Samsung. Also the body, and here you can see less shadow, less clarity. But if you look at the background of the Spider-Man, which one is better? I think LG is pretty much better than the S10 because we want this kind of blur background. Honestly, we buy expensive camera, we buy expensive lenses just because of the blur background. Personally, I love the blur background, so I think the LG V30 is better at this point. Not to mention about the brightness, because again, brightness can be adjusted later. Okay guys, so that should be all for now, and I don't want to compare the front facing camera between these two gadgets, because how to compare with the new flagship, and the flagship was released 1 or 2 years ago. It's impossible, right? And we know that the quality and we know the result from both flagships, so I don't have to do it for you guys. But what I really want to focus on is the rear camera between these two flagships. And as you can see, the small differences between these two flagships is the brightness from the Samsung Galaxy S10. Why bother buying a new flagship which is more than $800 while the old flagship is about $300 with almost exact same result? So It's up to you guys to think about it. Please let me know in the comment down below what you think about these two flagships. Okay, I hope to see you guys in the next one. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification to get new videos updated. Thank you.